Welcome back, my Sixers. I'm back with another top 6 list. Today we'll be counting down the top 6 things you should know before you come to China. It can also apply to different countries. So this is just based off of my experience and things that I regret, things that I wish I would have known before I came here. If I missed anything, put some comments down below. But before we get started, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, okay? Otherwise, let's get started. Number 6, the banks. Okay, so I put this one last. It's the least interesting, but it's something that really just kind of irritates me. So it's not, okay. Banks. Banks here are super difficult. I don't know why. I don't know how. I feel like in America, I can just and get a new bank account in under 10 minutes. But here, you need updated copies of your passport. Every time you change your ID, you have to go to the bank and change it with them or they will lock your account. There's just so many different things that make it difficult to bank here in China, and it's just so strange and so weird. No foreign currency. I can't exchange foreign currency with, my bank in America with my bank in China. That's something you should know and look into, before you come to China. Look into how you are going to save your money. If you have responsibilities in America, like a car payment, I couldn't get money outside of China when I first got here. It was the craziest thing.
Couldn't get money outside of China.
But, look into the banking system before you get here and think about how you are going to save your money and get your money out of China as well as back into China for emergency cases, if you overspend here. Number 5, passports and paperwork. Sort of similar to the bank situation, the passport situation. You got to keep up with your passport. That is your ID. For people who have traveled before, that's like a no-brainer to you.
This is the real number 5, is the paperwork. Making sure you keep up with your paperwork, whether it's the banking system, whether it's your contracts for your job. Anything that looks important is important. So make sure you think about that before you come and keep everything on hand, because they'll ask you.
And there are a lot of important paperwork here. It's a lot of paperwork. Like just living, you have to, go, every time you move to a new apartment, you have to go to the police station and get a piece of paper letting you know that you moved into the neighborhood. There's a foreigner in your neighborhood. Hello. So you need to go to the police station to get a piece of paper. Your employment stuff. There's just so much paperwork, and they even have a system where they need like a red stamp to make sure that's official. So make sure if anything is official that you hold on to it, because people will ask for it out of the blue.
You're like, oh, well, give me your secondary permit.
Secondary permit? What's the secondary permit? And you just gotta go through your paperwork and you're like, bam, secondary permit, got it. Or, that's made up. There's no such thing as a secondary. It's like a resident, whatever. You get what I mean. Just make sure you're ready at all times, because they will try to get you. And if they get you, they got you. And they will try to. So just cross your T's, dot your I's. Number 4 is the employment market. Do some research before you come about where you're going to work. And not just where you're going to work, because, many people come to China with a company as being hired by a company. But research the entire market, and, if that job doesn't work out and I want to stay in that country, where would I go? What other options are there if I want to change fields? Because pretty much it's pretty black and white here in China about the employment market. Everybody's teaching, but there are actually a lot of, cities and jobs that are outside of teaching. So you just have to look into that. And if you're something you're interested in, you're not interested in teaching, you just want to, get the experience to travel, maybe you can come with the credentials beforehand, all the prerequisites, so that you can apply for that job ahead of time. Because there are a few, industries and jobs here for foreigners. But all of them, require a certain proficiency in the Mandarin language and the Chinese language, which we'll get into later. Geography. This is not my thing. I just don't know. So maybe it's just for me, but I would give advice to somebody else and maybe say learn some geography before you come here. If you want to travel the world, get to know the world. And that was a big mistake I made. Frankly, I haven't traveled across, America a lot. I haven't been to all 50 states. I can't say that. I've been to maybe 10 to 15 states. That's not a lot. And, so I would say one big thing I regret is not being a better student of the world before deciding to explore the world. So I would say get to know, your countries. People will quiz you on those type of things. And as an American, we already have a stigma of being, so sheltered by American culture. So you don't want to be like that. So be a student of the world. Learn your geography, learn not just your countries, but your cultures and your people and where people are from. Because people are gonna say, I'm from this place. You're like, okay, you're from Georgia. I know Georgia. It's right from. Like, no, I'm from the other Georgia. And you're like, oh, that's next to Kazakhstan. Or that's next to Prussia, ain't it? Oh, that's next to Russia. Oh, that's somewhere near on the east or the west, or that's in the north side, ain't it? So I would say just get to know, try your best. It's not too important, but I wish I would have known that. Number 2, the rules and laws. Take a look before you come about the ruling governments, the rules, the laws, and how they treat foreigners or people, for my example, people of color. But, even people, if you are a non-native English speaker, if you are from Russia and you're coming to teach, English in China, how do they treat non-native English speakers in that country? So I would do some research about the rules, regulations, the laws, the governing about the situation. I went into it. I mean, I knew about, China and communism, but of course I didn't know. I should have done more research about it, because definitely once I got here, I got a feel for it. Maybe that's just an experience thing, something you have to get with experience, because once you feel it, it's a much different than, just reading about, what Americans say about communism. But I, of course, could have done more research on, the laws and things that go on here, what I can and cannot do. That is definitely something important to look into, whether any country that you're going to. Number 1, learn Chinese. This is the one thing that makes me so mad when I think about my process of coming to China, because my recruiter, she just straight up lied to me the whole time. She lied. Why you lied to me? She lied. I mean, first of all, she told me that the place I was going to was similar to Florida, which was a lie. And then she told, they always say, be careful. They always say, oh, you don't need to learn Chinese. If you don't know any Chinese, it's okay. We'll be there with you every step of the way. And that's a lie. That is a lie. Let me tell you. So my number one tip for things you should know before coming to China is learn the language. Get a head start. Please get a head start, because the language is very difficult. It's very difficult. It's not very easy with the tones that they have. It's not very easy. Even 3 years in, it's a struggle for basic everyday things. So I would say get a head start before you come. Learn the language. And one thing about this and why I put this at number one, I just think it is common decency. When you go to somebody else's country, you should at least attempt to eat their food and speak their language. I mean, to me, I feel like now as an explorer of the world, you should know. I mean, that is common decency to attempt that. So I didn't know that before because I was listening to the recruiter. So that is the number one thing. There are apps. Duolingo is very, very popular, but there are so many different apps that you can get onto and start learning Chinese or whatever language of the country you're going to. Learn the language. Learn the language. It's going to take some time, but, get into it because you need to, because they lie. They lie. Thank you so much for watching. This was the top 6 things you should know before you move to China. I hope you agreed, but hey, if you didn't, let me know down below. If you did agree, let me know what you liked about it and your experience moving to a different country. I would love to hear about that. We can talk down below. Otherwise, just like this video, share with a friend, 2 friends, whatever. And, subscribe to my channel. Tell your friend to subscribe to my channel and then give it to their mama and them. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, all right? Catch you later. Bye-bye.